Check one. Check one. Check two. And we're live. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Marcus Conte reporting. Kick it. Tamacrest, live on KEXP. Very sexy guitar, Les Paul. Yeah, good morning, everybody. A lot of people singing in different languages these days, you heard? They're making up the language. None of what this guy is saying makes any sense. It's not a real language, I don't think. Hey man, where else in the world but music, the music industry, can you make up your own language and get away with it? Ooh, I like the guitar, man. Playing all Gibsons. Good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting. I like this. I give him a round of applause. Yeah. Tamacrest. Azawad, is that the name of the band? No. The name of the band is Tamacrest. Got a couple of hundred views in an hour. All right, man. Boom. I like the drone sound of what's going on these days. I like the I don't know, it's not like angst. It's the music industry is heading in the opposite of angst. Right? Music is supposed to uplift you and get your go going. But it seems that it's going in the other direction, and it actually, by bringing the sound down or slowing it down, it actually enhances the go-go energy, or at least calms it down. I don't know what it is, but the music industry seems to be going in that direction of a kind of a trancey, kind of washy sound. You call it hippie. Oh yeah, they're all fucking music industry's going hippie. It's not really hippie. It's just I don't know. Maybe people really are waking up a little bit. So good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting. Talk a couple of subjects going on here. The big story, Phoenix, 20 straight days of 110-degree heat. Well, look at that story. It's heating up over there. Rex Heuermann, the serial killer, the Gildo Beach serial killer, even his wife is throwing him under the bus, files for divorce, saying it is what it is. They're claiming they didn't know what was going on. And so in that case, again, innocent till proven guilty, but there's mounting evidence. Police in Suffolk County believe they've got the right guy. We'll look at further story. And what do you know? They link Rex Heuermann. The Democrats have dug up Rex Heuermann, or Heuermann, excuse me, there's no B in there. The serial killer to Donald fucking Trump. Donald Trump hired Heuermann, the architect, who is now the Gildo Beach serial killer, hired him for like $200,000 to do some work at one of Trump's properties. And so for that, Trump is a serial killer. That's how the media spins it. And the most fascinating story, I think, is Dr. Cornel West. Love him or hate him, Dr. Cornel West is a significant player right now. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people like Dr. Cornel West, a lot of people in that severed portion of the Democratic Party who call themselves left-leaning progressives, whatever that even means anymore. But they believe in a lot of the things that Cornel West believes in. Unfortunately, Cornel West is old school black American, sees things through largely a racist, racially divided lens. And to me, that's his downfall. And Hannity is going to push him a little bit. Hannity pushes him, or did push him on Fox a little bit. Pushing of the Democratic Party. Hannity's going to push him a little bit, pushed him on Fox News about some of those issues and his brother, Donald Trump. But Cornel West is very, very firm in suggesting that Joe Biden is racist. Joe Biden is against the black people, just like a little bit of Trump. And that's why I'm the best candidate. So Dr. Cornel West running as a Green Party is not the same as Dr. Jill Stein, who nobody liked or nobody really, who never made any real significant waves in any specific demographic other than this very, very obscure Green Party. So Dr. Cornel West has the potential to suck a lot of life out of the Democratic Party. Can he win? Can an old school, black Princeton professor talking about racial division in America win the presidency? I don't think so, because I don't think the vast majority of Americans, I'm sure of it. I'll say it conclusively. The vast majority of Americans do not believe that America is a racist country. That is just a fact. Look at the facts. Go to the middle of the country and say, are you a racist? They'll look at you like you're supposed to be a racist because you live in fucking Missouri, or you live in Kansas, or you live in Pennsylvania. Oh, you're a racist. You're a Trump supporter. No, the reality is when you ask these people, they don't know what you're talking about. They're like, you're stupid. You're still stuck. So that's why I don't think a Cornel West can win. But he brings an interesting. It's interesting how the progressive wing will coalesce around Dr. Cornel West, and as Biden continues to flounder. You've got a deeply divided. Remember, Bernie Sanders, the outlier, got, he totally cut the Democratic Party in half. And Cornel West is a continuation of that, not so much as powerful as a Bernie Sanders as a progressive, but certainly enough to suck a lot of blood out of the Democrats, which we want to see. You want to see Biden and his corruption fail. You want to see his senility go away, right? And that's, you get rid of him, right? Trump's 77. Is Trump going to be senile in the Oval Office? Maybe. He'll only get one term, so he'll be 81 if he makes it to the end of a term. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Trump is sharp. Trump is still very, very vibrant. No signs whatsoever of decline. So those are the stories. Wake Now is in the house. Weevil Girl, our moderator, is here. Vinny Martini, Mikkel Slide, Jim Gerard, Zoot Cooter, Seti is here as well. Cass Philly Camden, my brother Chris Milk, and everybody. Snake is in the house too. Welcome everybody. And also I got to talk about my own TLRY. I gave you a couple of stock picks. That's part of what this program is about. I've given you 3 already. TQQQ, I gave it to you all the way down in the 20s. Now it's 46. I gave you Rivian at 14. Now it's 25. And I gave you TLRY at this entry point, $1.66 a share, already up to $1.77 as of yesterday. That's a big move right there. That's a 6% move off the bottom. And so I think we're on to something. 3 picks already. Two of which are worked out wonderfully, and I'll call it 2.5. I think we're on our way up with TLRY. I think that's the big one. The meme stock TLRY, TLRY, Nasdaq cannabis meme stock. I think is going to pop bigly. Who knows? Maybe it goes back to 40, 50, 100. Who knows? We'll find out. So I got a website. That's my thumbnail today. That's the good Dr. Cornel West dueling with Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity gave him some time, and we like that. I have a website every morning, 9 a.m. For some bizarre reason, I'm here. Some people just say, hey, he's a guy who likes to hear himself talk. Well, I don't like to hear myself talk. Well, sometimes I do. I'd rather hear myself play piano. But when I'm not doing that, I do and sometimes enjoy listening to myself talk. I'd rather talk than listen to myself talk. Anyway, it's funny when people criticize you. I was talking about stocks. One particular stock that someone disagreed with, TLRY. And some jerk off comes on the web and says, oh, yes, how much money? Have you made millions of dollars in the stock market? Where's your millions of dollars? How dare you speak? You live in your mother's basement. Well, the jerk offs. When people are challenged, they attack. Right? But every morning at 9 a.m., I'm here, attack or otherwise. You can support the program through Short Happy Life and PayPal, Patreon if you like. And join all these fine people. We're recording live in front of a studio audience every day, old school, live in front of a studio audience. So let's jump into this the meme stock TLRY for 1 second. Now TLRY has many tentacles up there in Canada that lead into the United States. And just to show you I guess the ability, how marijuana is becoming mainstream. Look at this, 2.7 million New Yorkers consume marijuana at least once a month. Now that's the ones that tell you that they do. Right? A lot of people, because of the stigma of marijuana, whether it's their legal issues of where they work or their family who, I don't know, they had some guy in AA, some family member who told them that you're all going to hell if you consume anything, right? A lot of those people are never, ever, ever going to tell you that they smoke weed on the sly. So I would say this number is much higher in America. I'd probably say a third to 40% of Americans recreationally dabble with marijuana. In a good way, right? Some of them are, there's a whole yoga movement around marijuana. There's a jiu-jitsu movement as well. People that, certainly runners have long known the value of a puff before a run. But anyway, some 2.7 million New Yorkers enjoy marijuana at least once a month. I would say that number is much higher. And these are the flamboyant people that want to put weed in your face. Anybody who smokes weed like this goes out and smokes a giant joint just because it's legal. It's fucking stupid. You're hurting yourself by doing that. Slow down, man. Nobody needs to smoke a pound of weed a day. Right? There'll always be the abuse. There'll always be that abuse. So anyway, New York is still struggling, but here you go. I want to show you the evidence right here. We're looking at TLRY in a down market today. Today, it looks like the Nasdaq's going to open down 135 because of Tesla. Tesla missed their earnings a little bit. It rocked the technologies a little bit. So you see the Nasdaq's going to open down a little. I don't suspect that that's going to continue down. It'll level off here and then go back up. But look at TLRY yesterday, up 6.6%. I gave it to you at $1.66. It went up to $1.77 in one day. At the open, we're pulling back 2 cents, but it hasn't opened yet. But that's some big returns. How much did your portfolio, or how much did your bank pay you in interest last year? In one day, here's 5%. So hopefully, fingers crossed, TLRY will continue to go up. It does look like it's bouncing here at the bottom. TLRY meme stock, TLRY cannabis meme. You can see how we're building off the bottom here, coming up from $1.51. The bottoms are getting higher, up to $1.65. Entry level right here. Boom. You see how it bounced. Next bounce, it looks like next bounce can go 185, 190. And my suspicion is that, my thought is that, if you look at the 4 hour, you see how it left a gap right here? It'll try to, generally stocks will try to close the window. Right? So you might get a shot all the way up to $2.30 in the near future. And then from there, it becomes a screaming buy all the way up, because it confirms the reversal pattern. So we'll keep looking at that. So Phoenix, Arizona, fucking steaming, man, steaming up.
Temperatures are on the move in just 24 hours.
Let's listen.
Largest city where temperatures. But we begin our report in the nation's 5th largest city where temperatures remain dangerously high.
So to the climate change people, Phoenix is heating up. It's usually 106 degrees. Now it's 110 degrees, 20 days in a row. Is this climate change, or is this just fucking hot, man? I would never live in a place like that. Wherever, if the temperature stays over 100 degrees day after day, I'm not there, man. I'm not even there for an hour. I'm looking for the air conditioner, the shopping mall or something.
U.S. climate data shows the average temperature in Phoenix for the month of July is normally 106 degrees. But just before 11 a.m. Wednesday, thermometers were already reading 110 degrees. The city, which has more than 1.5 million residents, has set a record by hitting 110 degrees or more for the 20th day in a row.
So it's very hot in Phoenix. I want to read a comment. Mikkel Sly says, Trump is an enigma, doesn't work out, loves McDonald's and Pepsi products, still alive and kicking. You know, Trump is actually very, very aware of Kung Fu and movement. He has this theory or this belief that you only get so much energy and you don't want to use it up on exercise. I've heard him say that. But yeah, Trump has a young streak, a very vibrant something about him, very sharp, very, I mean, he can go sleepless for days and just keep talking, you know. So Trump is not all people are the same. You know, Trump is he's very unique in that sense. But he does eat a lot of junk food out in the public. You don't know what he eats behind closed doors. He eats McDonald's once in a while, but for the most part, Trump is eating gourmet food, healthy gourmet food prepared for him through his chefs and his family. When they sit down at a classy dinner, Trump is not eating fucking Burger King and McDonald's. He's eating, shrimp foie gras and healthier foods. But that's I know he's got a Diet Coke habit and all that.
CBS News.
Let's get back to the heat in Phoenix.
Jonathan Vigliotti is braving the heat there for us.
Here in Phoenix, first responders are on the move. In just 24 hours, heat-related emergency calls jumped 35%. From close calls like this one to treating this patient showing signs of heat stress.
I can tell you that a majority of our calls that we are going on are going to be medical calls.
The priority for the responding crew is bringing a patient's body temperature down fast using ice-cold intravenous fluids.
So what you can see here is we have IV bags that we throw in ice.
How could you live in a place like that where you need fucking cold, you need ice to save your life? I would never live in a place like that.
Right?
It's like living living in the desert. Don't go there.
So we have several of them. I mean, this we could use
two of these for one.
All right. So there's a lot of heat in Phoenix. We don't know why it's fucking so hot over there, but anyway, let's jump into the serial killer, Rex Heuermann, the guy who kills whores. His wife replied to news, the Jew, Rex the Jew Heuermann from Long Island, who kills whores, replied to news. His wife replied to news. He was the suspect. Said, quote, "Okay, it is what it is." So there's his darling wife. There's his wonderful child. And we don't know, this dude in the middle is not Heuermann. It looks like the son. Nobody can confirm that that's the son, but he looks just like him. Look at the gut. Look at the fucking fatties. 3 fatties. So, but what did she say? So now Rex Heuermann's estranged wife quickly came to terms with the fact he was being accused of being a perverted serial killer and said, okay, it is what it is. Wow, man. What else does she know about it? She filed for divorce. They bursted into her house. She was home in Massapequa Park. Bursted into her house. At the same time, they bursted into his office in New York City. She's been his wife for 25 years, except that he may be behind the notorious killings. Yeah, it does suggest that. It's got to be devastating on the family. These are innocent people, right? Because you're related and or associated with a kook doesn't make you a kook yourself. But this is, why is Heuermann going after whores? This is his wife. He obviously wasn't attracted to his 59-year-old fat wife. So he went for 20-year-old whores on the beach and killed them with, using fucking dead phones and the whole deal. So it does, the evidence is starting to mount that they got the guy. They got a piece of her hair DNA on one of the victims' bodies. Imagine that. Heuermann had his wife's hair on him. And when he was touching the whores and then killing them, his wife's hair fell off on the whore. And the cops found it. And then they paired that whore DNA to Heuermann's pizza DNA. So police are doing a good job. They're connecting all the DNA dots. And it was enough to get the search warrant to kick the guy's door down to find the real shit, which is the trophies. Right? There's got to be a picture. There's got to be some kind of glory shot where he took it. He's a dumb guy. He never believed he would get caught. None of them do. And if they do, they want to go down in glory. So the sheriff gave a talk. This guy. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the. Here he is. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's over here. So here he is coming out of court. We saw this video. Did you do it, Rex? Looking at Heuermann, I would say for sure that this is the son. It looks just like him. That's the younger version of. It's a mix between her and him. Did he do it? Did you do it, Rex? So incredibly, before we look a little further, somebody is trying to link Donald Trump hired Gildo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann for $200,000 for a project. Now, hold your fire right there. For a billionaire, millionaire, multimillionaire, presidential candidate, socialite in New York, to hire an architect firm, without really deep diving. Who the fuck knew? The police didn't even know that Heuermann killed the girls at Gildo Beach. But what the spin of the story will be that Trump used poor judgment and hired a serial killer to fix his toilet. I did some plumbing. Which is ridiculous. There's no lines that connect to that. Of the thousands of people that Trump may have hired to do work for him in his properties. One of them happened to be Heuermann. So what? All right. But anyway, the Trump organization hired Heuermann's architect firm for a plumbing job on the 17th floor of the Trump building at 40 Wall. All right. All that tells me is that the plumbing at 40 Wall Street sucks. All right, in Trump's building has got fucking plumbing problems. He's got to spend $200,000 to fix it. That's all it tells me, really. And this guy was, he was doing it. He was up there. He got Trump's attention or whatever. Somehow he got the contract. So, but anyway, so let's listen to the sheriff tell us. Distinguished sheriff. He was a NYPD high-ranking official, commissioner, somebody, and he's now the top dog at Nassau County Police. And let him talk. He thinks he's got his guy. Let's listen.
We believe he is the killer. Mm-hmm. We believe we have him.
The alleged Gilgo Beach killer is now behind bars, according to Suffolk County Sheriff Errol Toulon Jr. In a one-on-one interview with Law and Crime Network, Toulon says he believes Rex Heuermann is responsible for the serial murders that plagued his jurisdiction for years.
One of the things that we realized pretty quickly was that we thought that we had the person. I think when we started looking at the evidence that we were starting to gather against him, we realized pretty quickly.
In the interview, Toulon provided new details in the murder.
That is very, very damning when the sheriff is coming out saying about someone who has not been convicted of anything, saying we think we got our guy. That's pretty solid. That's a solid statement from law enforcement. They think they got the guy. So
murder case revealing two former Suffolk County.
They usually say, "Oh, we don't have any comment. We don't know anything yet." But here they're saying the opposite. They're saying, "Yeah, we think we got the guy. This is the guy that did it."
Inmates had a close call with the accused serial killer, who officials say reached out to escorts in the weeks leading up to his arrest.
There were two persons in our custody that he had actually reached out to, but never actually made any physical contact. Called them by cell phone, spoke to them, but that was as far as it went.
Last week, officials announced the arrest of 59-year-old Rex Heuermann, who they say is responsible for at least 3 of the Long Island serial murders dating back to 2010.
Mikhail Sly points out, how do we know the wife wasn't involved? They found her hair at the crime scene because the wife was out of the country at the time. Right? That's a fact. I didn't say that fact prior, but Rex Heuermann killed these women, and the record shows that the wife was out of the country. I think the sheriff was going to tell us that. So the wife is ruled out. She was out of the country, and it somehow, I don't know.
I'm standing here with my law enforcement partners in the Gilgo Task Force to announce the indictment of defendant Rex Andrew Heuermann, 59 years of age.
In all, 11 sets of remains have been recovered in the Gilgo Beach area of Suffolk County, New York. Right now, Heuermann faces charges in the murders of Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, who were working as escorts at the time of their murders.
So all young, pretty white escorts. That's kind of now confirmed. We didn't know for sure if they were escorts, but now we're going to call them escorts. Listen, prostitution, escorts. Sometimes Amber Blue, little boy Blue, he needed the money. It's just the way it is, right? Sometimes that's the economy, and a young girl will swing some old fuck for $1,000. It's $1,000, or $500, whatever they're getting. And they're happy. They don't know they're going to get killed, but it's quick money. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a good way to make a living. But certainly that we're not the only culture that has that. Right? We're the only culture that frowns upon it. Most of the world just looks at it like, lay down, bitch, and this is your place. Go to South Korea. where women are fucking, any woman who makes it to stardom or fame had to lay down and go to bed with a bunch of dirty old, Korean men before she got to the top. And that's just acceptable, right? That's just the way it is, right? Oh, honey, you sleep with this man now and you have good career. That's how it is.
But Toulon tells Law & Crime Network,
or Thailand, for example,
Heuermann could soon face charges in the murder of additional victim, Maureen Brainerd Barnes.
There are certain times where we have evidence, but evidence to be brought to court to be able to charge someone and hold someone for a crime is a little different. So we want to make sure, and the district attorney and the police commissioner have been very methodical in our approach in addressing this and wanting to make sure that...
I think they really got him. I think you're hearing the truth because there's really no politics here. Nobody supports a serial killer. Nobody supports a fucking 6'5" monster running around killing 20-year-olds, right? So I think the reporting is unbiased at this point, right? What's the political motive to exonerate this guy? There is none, right? And what, right?
That we were pretty concrete with everything that we presented to the courts that we can hold this one, and there was no technicalities.
Toulon credits a multi-department task force comprised of officials from the Suffolk County Police Department, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, New York State Police.
Get ready for Sal Vulcano.
And now a commercial. I'm sorry. One day I'm going to get the pay-for-play one.
Tracking down Heuermann and gathering an abundance of evidence against him.
But I can tell you that each part of the task force brought a different piece to what we were collectively doing together. And so I think that was probably the success in the...
This guy, this sheriff right here is a hero, right? The case was closed. He opened it about 3 or 4 years ago or 2 years ago. And pow, he got his guy. Got his guy fast. Right? It's pretty good.
Expediency of how a suspect was arrested and in custody right now.
After the first sets of remains were discovered more than a decade ago,
all right, so the chief of police there is definitely in line saying that they think they got their guy. I want to change to this right here. Did you know that Alzheimer's disease is racist? CBS is running this story about the prevalence of Alzheimer's in the east and southeast of the United States. The east and southeast, that's a big slice of America. How much of the east? All the way up to Maine to Florida, and the southeast? Or how far out? All the way into fucking Louisiana? That's a lot of people, right? And this quack doctor is going to tell you because it's racial. Alzheimer's is racist. It hits people of color more disproportionately than anybody. Really? Well, what causes it? And right, they say it's racism, but you listen to this ridiculous assessment of Alzheimer's, a 100% curable, preventable disease. Before we do that, I want to look at the markets. We are open. Ding, give it to me. Whoa. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. And trouble in paradise. TLRY down a couple of cents. Time to buy at 172.50. Rivian screaming back. Rivian was down in the before the open. Now back up 24.81. Rivian's going way higher, man. Rivian is, I'm telling you, it's the next Apple. Right? Look, if you didn't grab it at 14, grab it at 25. And that shit is going to, 75, 100, 200. You'll look back on this one. I have more faith that Rivian will go higher than TLRY will. Maybe not as much as the high techs overall, where you find evidence of that in TQQQ, the ultra stock that follows the high technology. That one is down 83 cents. But we're down right now. We're striking a little red right now. Rivian just went red. We got some selling going on here. That was a big dip down there, RIVN. What's going on? So anyway, so let everything trade, and Nasdaq is down 61 on the news that Tesla stock worth only $85. So Wall Street is trying to short the shit out of Tesla and knock it down a little bit. Bad-mouthing Tesla for missing earnings. The rest of it, as I said, I began coverage of Philip Morris, a dead fucking stock for years, goes sideways, never gets over 100, is now just broke 100 this morning, up another $1.27. Big marijuana play right here, Philip Morris. If, when, and how United States finally removes cannabis from the Schedule 1 fucking nonsense and makes it, the equivalent of alcohol, Philip Morris is going to boom, and then they're going to start buying all these little brands, buying them up. So we're going to continue to watch Philip Morris, see if it can, where is it right now? Let's look at the overall. I think that's I don't know. It hasn't done anything. Is this the big bump that Philip Morris has been waiting for? It could be. It's the equivalent of everybody's waiting for Ford and Chevy saying, oh, yeah, well, they're part of the electric vehicle market as well. And they're going to go up just like RIVN and Tesla. Like, no, they're not, because they're still making cars with a combustion engine. Tesla and RIVN are not doing that. They're making electric cars. And so I don't think Philip Morris, their primary product is tobacco. Now, if they start mixing that in with marijuana on a legal basis, that is going to be big, because they will corner the lazy market, who people, they just want to go to the store and buy. They don't want to grow. They don't want to shop. They want and who's a better brander, a better marketer than Philip Morris? I mean, they sell fucking Marlboro cigarettes to everybody in the world, buys that garbage. Right. And so let's look at the daily. One day you could see all the way back. Let's look at a weekly. You got to get a weekly chart up to see how far back it does nothing. But look, we are approaching a top right here at 100. If it breaks over 100, 105, 104, it's going to keep running. But you could see all the way back as far as 2017, it was 119. It's been this way forever. So is cannabis industry the big bump for Philip Morris? There is some support for that idea. So we'll keep watching it though. And right now it is going up. So, but I won't be confident until it really rumbles, right? And really, because the cannabis market is billions of dollars. And if Philip Morris gets in on that, it's going to go fucking way up. They're the number one candidate to take over the cannabis market in a legal sense. So get off of tobacco, start to infuse the cannabis. So where were we? I forgot where we were. The heat. The Alzheimer's is racist. Let's listen.
And Mississippi.
Joining us now to discuss this is Dr. Donna Murphy.
Dr. Donna Murphy is now going to tell you that Alzheimer's disease is what? Is racist. Listen, that's the number one reason she gives for Alzheimer's disease. Listen.
A neurologist and promotora, or community health worker and liaison when these studies are being done. Great to have you with us. Donna, explain why Alzheimer's disease might be most prevalent here in the East and in Southeast regions.
I think what we understand about those geographic data are that it's driven largely by social determinants of health. And so where people have access to health care, where they have access to healthy food, educational access, obviously.
So she's saying access to healthy food. You're telling me that people in the Southeast have less access to healthy food than everywhere else in the country? They get the same, even poor people get the same food stamps. They have access to the exact same fucking food, you dumb fucking idiot. That doesn't make sense. Demographics.
Have access to healthy food.
Healthy food.
Educational access, obviously.
Educational access. What? They don't have people in the Southeast and don't have access to education? What the fuck are you talking about? You're a doctor? You studied this shit? Go away. Well, just stay for entertainment purposes. Thank you.
Where they have access to exercise outdoors in a safe manner. All of those things that actually influence cardiovascular health have.
People in the South and the East of America don't have access to the outside? What?
Pretty profound implications also for incidence of Alzheimer's disease.
This is so interesting, Dr. Murphy. I'm
Is it?
wondering.
And listen to CBS jump on it. Oh, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. You see, Alzheimer's is a medical disease, and it's more prevalent in these areas because of demographics and race. How ridiculous! How fucking ridiculous! It's a degenerative inner disease caused by all those things: bad food, lack of exercise. It has nothing to do with color and sociology. You could argue that it has to do with education, that dumb people don't understand the basic simplicity of health, which is exercise, take care of yourself all the time, not just sometimes. As Joe Rogan says, when asked about exercise, they say, yeah, I try to exercise. How often do you think you should exercise? Well, I exercise twice a week, someone will say. And he goes, when you ask Joe Rogan how often does he do at least 1 hour of vigorous exercise, and he says, every day. I asked Joe Rogan, every day. I like Joe Rogan for that. That's how you have to do it. Every day. There's no day off from taking care of yourself. Oh, fuck that. I'm not going to take care of myself today. No, every day. Every day you do it.
Because you sort of think Alzheimer's would affect the population universally without regard to where people live.
Right. That would be, it does affect the population wherever you live, right? That is an accurate assumption. But why are you listening to this stupid doctor tell you otherwise?
Oh, how important are these findings for medical experts then?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to be careful here. It's not necessarily precisely the geography of where people live. I think it has much more to do with kind of the resources of where people live and how those...
the resources of where people live. What are you talking about?
Are disproportionately distributed among different populations. So something that we know, for instance, we've known for quite some time is that Alzheimer's disease is racialized in...
And there you go. There you go. She said it. Alzheimer's disease is racialized. Listen.
Alzheimer's disease is racialized in how is that Alzheimer's disease is racialized in how it happens. And, that I think is also reflected in data that is geographically specific, right? So in certain places you have a predominance of certain populations, and those populations may have disproportionate incidence of this disease. And it's largely because of those social determinants of health.
Well, you have more blacks on the East Coast than you do in California? Oh, come on.
That we discussed, which are themselves racialized. So that I think is important to recognize. Right. They have disproportionate incidence.
Listen to this liberal logic one more time. Listen to what she's saying. It makes no sense.
A predominance of certain populations, and those populations may have disproportionate incidence of this disease. And it's largely because of those social determinants of health that we discussed, which are themselves racialized.
Everything I'm saying is of course racialized. That's what she's saying. Okay.
So that I think is important to recognize.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean. Correlation does not necessarily mean causation.
And two black reporters failing to push back on a if she was talking to me, I'd be like, "What are you talking about? Give me the evidence of Alzheimer's disease is racial." How are you so give the poor people more and you're gonna eliminate Alzheimer's? Stupid.
but it is another data point which suggests where you are socioeconomically can have a massive impact on all sorts of health outcomes. I want to turn our attention to a different dementia-related study.
Okay, so I went a little too far, and I want to talk about Dr. Cornel West. Quick look back at the market, and then I want to talk about Cornel West. We're way into the program already, and I didn't do it. I didn't talk about it. Let's see, RIVN. All right, so we're still a little green. We're still a little red right now. NASDAQ is struggling off the bottom. Philip Morris up $1.30. Yeah, Philip Morris. Apple up 95 cents to 195. Amazon. It looks like the NASDAQ is almost ready to break out over the top, and then it's running. Tesla is down at the open 14. That's the drag right now on the NASDAQ. Nothing else seems to be affected by it. Tesla down 14. Nvidia down 10 cents. Microsoft up 15. Facebook down $1. Google up 2. So not really a rocking event. Military industrial complex stocks all green. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing. It probably has something to do with Biden sending troops over to the Ukraine. Weevil Girl reported this morning. I didn't see that article, but there's rumor that he's sending 3,000 troops to the Ukraine. Look, there's your evidence right there. Lockheed Martin up, Raytheon up, Boeing up. Johnson & Johnson up 6. What the hell did they do? These are the holy vaccine stocks: Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna. Moderna flat, Johnson & Johnson up. Moderna got slaughtered. Moderna used to be a $400 stock. It's $125 now. It got killed. People are not buying that shit anymore. Marijuana ETFs are slightly down this morning. And TLRY at 173. Let's see if we can. I don't know what's going on in there. Again, I don't like to micromanage these types of things, but we're up off the bottom. The bottom, I believe the bottom is in at like 150s. And see, we bounced down to. We're bouncing. We went down to 171. Now we're back up to 173. Let's see if we keep going higher. And higher, we're going higher. So there you go. So let's see. Hannity takes on the great Dr. Cornel West. Dr. Cornel West, someone that I have quite a bit of respect for. He's an outspoken individual. He was a Bernie Sanders tried and true with Nina Turner and a lot of other very, very smart people. Susan Sarandon were very adamant about, reining in corporate tyranny. To some degree, the systemic racism that does exist at some levels, or at least did in the past. Now that affirmative action is off the table, at least in colleges, maybe Dr. Cornel West could admit it. But anyway, here's Dr. Cornel West taking on Hannity.
No Republican wants to be in your bedroom.
Would you vote for this guy? Would you vote for Dr. Cornel West? That's the question you have to ask. Would you vote for Dr. Cornel West for president?
None that I've heard of. Anyway, the Democratic Party, they're just lying to you, as per usual. Republicans are not coming for your birth control. They don't want dirty air, dirty water, and they don't want to throw Granny off a cliff. And if Democrats really want to combat racism, sexism, well, they may want to start from within. After all, it was the Democratic Party that founded the KKK. They're the ones that fought against school integration and are now fighting against school choice. In fact, Joe Biden himself worked with segregationists, including his mentor, the former...
That's great spin by Hannity. So Hannity is the spin master.
Former Klansman Robert KKK Byrd. Remember the slow integration in public schools? He didn't want his kids to grow up in a, quote, racial jungle. And in 1993, it was Biden that co-sponsored the crime bill that resulted in the mass incarceration of African Americans who Biden referred to as predators on our streets. Left-wing scholar Dr. Cornel West is now openly openly accusing Biden of committing crimes against humanity, against African Americans. Dr. West is seeking the Green Party's nomination for president in 2024.
All right, so Dr. Cornel West is seeking the Green Party nomination. He hasn't secured it yet. They'll have a primary, but he's the number one. He's the front runner. There's nobody else nobody else has the notoriety to run in the Green Party like Dr. Cornel West. He is in line with all of their crazy thinking.
He joins us now. Sir, always good to have you back. How are you, my friend?
Oh, indeed. I appreciate you having me back, and hope you and your family are doing all right. It's been a while, my brother.
I love when you call me Brother Sean. You're always welcome to do so. You are
Cornel West, he looks a little nervous right now. He knows he's going to get attacked any second.
Saying that Biden committed crimes against humanity against black Americans. And you said his record on race issues, and you called out the Democratic Party's history. Let me ask you this. Why overwhelmingly do minorities and African Americans, Hispanic Americans, why are they still continuing to vote in large numbers in the Democratic Party?
Well, one is, I think more and more fellow citizens are reaching the conclusion that the whole system is so rotten, brother. You got both parties.
The system is always rotten, Dr. Cornel West. The system has been rotten. It depends on how you view it. It's always rotten, and it's always ripe. It's just how you view it. But that is a principal campaign pitch. Everything sucks. Vote for me. I need a little more evidence.
That are so corrupt with politicians who are tied to big money. This is true for Republicans. It's true for Democrats.
Yeah.
You were talking about Brother Trump himself and Biden's connection to Stennis, Biden's connection to Thurman. We know Brother Trump's, his own father has been tied to the Klan. Trump's.
Cornel West says Donald Trump's father was tied to the Klan. Not true. Not true. And what does Trump's father have to do with Trump? Right? Biden was linked to Strong Thurman, the racist fucking politician from North Carolina. What is Trump? Because Trump's father, right, the old man, was Trump ever involved with the KKK? Hell fucking no. Trump was best friends with Don King, promoting boxing and guys like Mike Tyson.
Language about black people.
Hold on a second. I've never heard his father.
The racism cuts.
Professor, I've never heard that allegation. Never once.
Of Trump.
Now, I know Joe Biden said he didn't want our schools to be integrated and be racial jungles.
No, my brother, you got to do a little. We won't go into all of that now, but I'm not going to say the son has to take the responsibility of the father. Oh no, we have empirical evidence of that in terms of not just how he treated black people in Queens.
How Trump treated black people in Queens? What are you talking about? Empirical evidence? Put some on the table. Where was Trump ever a racist in Queens? Where?
But also the fact that he took him to Klan rallies. But this is in the...
His father went to Klan rallies? Trump never went to a fucking Klan rally. Trump, the president.
History. But we're not talking about his father. God bless his soul. We're talking about Trump himself. Look, for example...
Right. So now he lets it go. Now Cornel West says, let's stop talking about Trump's father. Let's talk about Trump. Yeah. You just attacked his father. And by association, Trump is a racist who supports the Klan. Stupid.
Brother,
that is not smart educational fucking professorships. Professorism.
To Salam. You know, Yusuf Salam was one of the Central Park of young brothers who was taken to jail. I was blessed to support him. I live in Harlem. He's now my councilman. What did Brother Trump say about Brother Yusuf? Death penalty,
okay, you made your
not even a fair trial. I want a fair trial for Trump. I want a fair trial for Trump. Did he want a fair trial for that black brother? No.
He's talking about the kid that shot, or fucking one of these animals that attacked somebody in Central Park, and was later shown to not have done it, but he was there. Or whatever the fucking story is, and that makes Trump a racist.
That's his racism too. It cuts across the board, brother.
See, Cornel West, I disagree, Weeble Girl, that Hannity is making it about race. No, Cornel West is making it about race. He said that Trump is linked to the Klan because his father once upon a time went to a Klan rally or something.
You're talking to the wrong person here. I don't rush to judgment. I'm the one that says everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. You said that black Americans are not a priority for Joe Biden. That's what you said.
That's right. That's right.
And
see, that is big right there. Cornel West is on Fox News telling you that Joe Biden his policies are racist, right? He supported racism, whether he knew it or not. That's powerful, right? That's powerful. And it does fly a little bit. You know, see the progressives will say, well, Cornel West may have a racial slant for blacks, but Trump, he's a white supremacist, right? And they may just go with him. You know, they may. A lot of progressives will flip. I'm telling you, they'll flip to Cornel West and vote green because they don't like Biden and they don't like Trump.
how real is your run for the presidency? And what is the likelihood the Green Party is going to be on the ballot in all 50 states?
Well, we're in the process, my brother, of gaining that ballot access. And my run for the...
They're never going to get it. They're not going to get ballot access. Green Party will not get ballot access in all 50 states. It's not going to happen in our lifetime, unless the Democratic Party folds. If the Democratic Party falls, like the Whigs did in the 1800s, then you'll have the Green Party rise. But until then, not going to happen.
Presidency is the same for my run for truth and justice ever since I was 15 years old, which is to say, is real as a heart attack. Because if I remain silent about the mass incarceration, silent about hoods, silent about reservations, silent about poor white and working white folk, silent about the strikes that's taking place, both Trump and Biden on the boss's side when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to UPS, when it comes to Amazon. I stand with working people. I stand with poor people. I don't care what color they are, brother. They could be your cousins or my cousins. I stand in solidarity with them. It's a moral and a spiritual issue, and that's what it means.
Weeble Girl says policy stance. What would you do as president, Cornel West? He hasn't really told us yet. He just says everything is fucked up and I'm going to fix it, but I don't know how.
That have a candidacy that's trying to be critical of the corporate duopoly of both parties tied to corrupt money at the top and militarism abroad, my brother.
You said it's very clear that Joe Biden's cognitive powers are in decline. Professor, you're stating the obvious. Why won't more people on the left, and you're to me on the left, why won't they have the honesty?
I'm definitely on the left. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. I'm on the left,
Sanders is your mentor.
He's funny, though. He's a funny guy. He'd make an amazing candidate.
You love Bernie. I know all about it.
Well, no. Bernie's my brother, but he's not my mentor. I come out of Martin Luther King Jr., Fannie Lou Hamer,
all right,
elevation.
40-some-odd years as a professor. I'll stand corrected, but you like Bernie Sanders a lot.
No.
All right. So
he's my brother now. Ain't no doubt about that.
Here's what I do want to ask you, though, because I think this is an important.
Cornel West is extremely defensive in this interview, extremely on guard. He's got to watch Vivek Ramaswamy a couple of times and learn how to be calm in the face of an attack.
Question. And I think
Hannity is clearly in the pocket of Trump. Hannity wants Trump to be president again. That's where he's coming from, no doubt.
We should get to the bottom of it. You talked about it's strange that the Secret Service could not identify, a bag of cocaine in the White House. You talked about the slap on the wrist for Hunter Biden. Now, they stopped that investigation into cocaine in the White House in 10 short days, Dr. West. 10 days.
They sure did, man. 10 days, no investigation. Secret Service can't figure out where the bag of coke came from. They could find the fucking DNA on a piece of pizza 12 years ago. But they can't figure out who was in that spot at a certain time with all the cameras running. Bullshit.
Professor. And they didn't interview a single person. Now, that just reeks to me like a cover-up. Why do I believe if it was your White House or Trump's White House or somebody else's White House that treatment wouldn't fly? Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right about that. I don't know about Trump's White House. I can't speak for brother. From my White House, and I've told my
You
beloved
almost
wife,
called him Brother Trump.
I'm not even going to the White House until every American citizen has a house. I want to abolish poverty, abolish homelessness. I want jobs with a living wage. I want everybody to have health care across the board. So in terms of just trying to be fair, but let me say this though, brother. Every father does have a right to love their precious son.
That's very true. That's Biden defending his son. That's a good point. I give him a round of applause. Joe Biden defending his son Hunter. Bringing bags of coke into the White House. He has a right to defend them, I guess.
It's just that your son cannot have unequal protection. He's got to have equal protection across the board. So I understand the brother's predicament, but we have to be able to bring our criticism to bear. And I hope you bring it to bear, my brother, with some love now, because you got kids
of love
too,
in my
right?
heart. You know me for how many years?
Right,
a lot of love in this heart.
As much as I can.
You don't even like to admit,
my brother.
You love me more than you want to admit publicly. Just say it. You can say it.
Oh no.
So I don't really think that they had much of a difference here. I think that Cornel West was up on his heels, and Hannity pushed him, and Cornel West in the 9 minutes we're watching this wasn't able to give his policy, this is what we're going to do for America to lift it up. It's just vote for me, and I'll continue the drive of Martin Luther King Jr. and the people that crossed over the bridge and down there in Selma.
I'm a Christian. I love everybody. I begin on the chocolate side of town because my mom and dad, but I love everybody. I love you too. It's just that my love for you means I'm pushing you against the wall in any racism, any transphobia, homophobia, and any
I am against
indifference to poor and working people.
Racism. I find it repugnant and evil. End of sentence. And no conservative that thinks that way or says they think that way, I want nothing to do with them.
So I don't know, man. I don't think Cornel West is not. This doesn't disqualify him. Trust me, it doesn't disqualify him because he has deep roots, deep tentacles into that side of the Democratic Party, the progressive, young Turks crowd. Cornel West is going to be on, Cenk Uygur is going to interview him. They're all Kyle Kulinski. He'll probably go on Rogan, right? And he's going to talk about it. He's going to get if he is the candidate, if he is the Green candidate, Green Party candidate, they're going to talk about him. And he's if you think Ralph Nader was a spoiler or Jill Stein is a spoiler, Cornel West is going to be the support, the fucking spoiler of the century, man. So anyway, I'm going down here. Come on, man. Shit, what the fuck? Come on, go up. We need everything to go up today. TLRY down 6 cents, up 6 cents, down 6 cents. Buy this shit, man. Buy it right here, 170. 171. NASDAQ is still down 125. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 197. And Tesla into the session still down 18. That's me over there. So thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace, everybody.
But